Okay, so hello again, and this is phase one or stage one of an interior which is 10,000 millimeters by 7,000 millimeters is the length by width internal measurement of the floor plan of a dining living space, which we're going to work on. We've been previously drawing it up in CAD in 2D. CAD being the more technical package, and now we're going to import our 10,000 millimeter by 7,000 millimeter floor plan into Sketchup and save it on a separate layer, and then use that as our base for our Sketchup 3D model. Okay, so just firstly on a few quick tips on the interface. We have here a it's called a tray, and you can have 1, 2, 3 numerous trays, and in these trays you can have all the various windows that you must go in and out of as you go through your SketchUp model. We'll just have a quick look at this one here. Entity info, that'll just give you information, technical data, numerical data on whatever element you have clicked upon in SketchUp. Materials, in here we have a library which we can add to, and we can take stuff from of different finishes that we can apply to the different elements of the model as we go along. Just going to show you here quickly. These are a number of different metals, and when we click on this drop down menu we have asphalt and concrete, brick, cladding. Just clicking it there, different types of brick and cladding and so on. And again, when we connect to Trimble, which is the online cloud system that can help us, called Trimble, and we can take stuff from the 3D warehouse as well and add it on here. Okay, so then just components then. Again, if you want to minimize these, just click on this left click once on this little arrow. Components, we'll talk more about components, groups and components as we work our way into the different phases of the tutorials. This is the layers menu here in SketchUp. It is a good idea to keep everything, absolutely everything, on a separate layer, and again make things into groups and components as you feel. This allows this stops you getting into a really messy model as you draw away. Whereas if you take it step by step and be very detailed about it, keeping everything on separate layers and so on, it really helps later on. Because you will run into lots of trouble if you don't do this from the start. Here we have shadows. Again, these are all options that from up here in the left hand menu you can add and take away. Shadows is just shadow and shade on the model, and you have here different times on the clock and dates during the year. So when we get deeper into the design of the model and we're putting in finishes, we can use plugins to give a photorealistic finish to our SketchUp model, and that's the main idea for this, particularly with a package of drawings for an interior. Then we have scenes. Scenes is when you're finished, you've got the model finished, you've got it rendered, you've got your furniture downloaded or drawn in, everything's rendered up and it's photorealistic. You can make scenes where a camera is positioned and a line is drawn around the model, which allows you to show your client a video as if they were walking through the model. It's amazing piece of software. We'll be looking at that as we go along further. Instructor then is it's a good thing to have when you're getting started in SketchUp, because it gives you tool tips on it's intelligent because it knows what part of the model you're involved in, and will give you some tips and shortcuts and stuff. Very good thing, Instructor. And Outliner is basically, the best way to describe it would be, it's like Windows Explorer. And this here is going to be a document tree, or document object model, if you want to use that term from programming, of everything that happens inside your model, so that you don't get lost. It'll all come in here. When you make say a floor, call it a floor, and inside that floor then there will be carpet and flooring and so on. So that's the tray. Now I'm going to just delete that. Okay, I'm just going to delete it, and we're going to go up here and have a quick look at the interface, more of a look at the interface. So file, you have all your usual options there: new, open, save, save as a template, and so on and so forth, and then all your recent documents. Edit, again, we'll be going through these as we're drawing. View, toolbars, hidden geometry, we'll be looking at, again, we'll be going into these deeper. Camera, all the different options for the camera. Draw, these are your main draw toolbars. Okay. Tools, then all the different icons that we have up here, along here, they're all listed there as well. In SketchUp there's 3 or 4 different ways to do everything. You just find what suits you the best. And then window, then this is where, and then obviously help, then you can go online, and then there's a inbuilt PDFs of help with the software. What we're going to do here is create a new tray. Okay, new tray. So tray 1, we call it interior design. Just type that in on the keyboard like so, and then in here we can click what we want. Now we're after going through these over here, and what we're going to do is entity info, yes, materials, components, styles, layers, scenes, shadows, fog, match photo, soften edges, instructor, and outliner. We'll put them all in. I could have selected all there. You can add some in here, add other ones if you want, but for the moment I'm happy with this, and the add button allows you to add this new tray to your interface. So that's just loading up over there. For this package I would suggest 4 GB of RAM. If you have 2 GB you should be alright, but 4 GB or more with a decent video card as well, and a good processor. Any standard laptop for €500 and so on will run SketchUp, even cheaper laptops, but the more you have the better, particularly when you're rendering and you don't want to lose work. Like this particular laptop here is a HP Pavilion, and it has 4 GB of RAM and a pretty decent NVIDIA video card, but as you can see here it's still taking time to load up, even though I have cleaned the computer as regards malware and spyware and so on and RAM. But anyway, here we are. Entity info, materials, components, styles, layers, scenes, shadows, fog. Yeah, believe it or not, you can put fog onto the design. So that's our material library there, which can be moved around the interface as well, if it'll allow me. Okay, the spinning wheel on the mouse allows you to zoom in and out. Okay, and then the other 2 zoom options that you will use as well most of the time is this one here, which is called zoom extents. Zoom the camera view in or out to show the entity model. So basically, if you're in a bit of trouble, press zoom extents, and then you can zoom in and out again with the scroll wheel on the mouse. This other one here, orbit the camera view about the model. Left click on that, and when you left click and hold down on the left click button on the mouse, you can move the mouse around, and you can move around like this with the model staying in the dead center of the screen. And again, zoom in and out with the scroll wheel, left click and hold down, and it's those 3 are what we use most of the time in SketchUp. Okay, so as regards toolbars, then tools, and then you can tools, and in here you can pick different tools from that menu. If you want to get rid of a tool, click on this one here to select one. left click on it once and it gets you back to where you were, and you can zoom in and out. Okay, I just want to show you how to get some new tools into the interface window. Just un momento, por favor. 3D extension areas, tools, select, where is toolbars, draw, camera, view, there we go, sorry. Okay, toolbars, left click on toolbars, and here we have a window, the toolbars window. First of all, you have 2 tabs, options, shows green tip on toolbars. You can turn that off, but I would leave that on as you're learning, and large icons, and that's the way they are at the moment. Toolbars, you can choose here, say for instance camera, and then the camera tool appears. We already have this, okay, we already have it. No, we actually have, yeah, we have some of it added in there, but as you go along you'll find that a lot of toolbars, there's no point having them on the screen, they're just using up screen real estate. But in this case we'll just click this, so we left click and hold down on it and then position it in like that. Okay, all right, before we move on to the next thing, we're going to get rid of this guy. I forget exactly what his name is. Okay, so we clicked on him there and he'll give us his name in the outliner, the Windows Explorer of everything that's happening. So he is Chris, so we clicked on him and we can press delete on the keyboard, or if we press Ctrl Z it'll bring him back. Left click on him, right click, and then when you right click in the left click window, scroll up and left click on erase once. There we go. Okay, we're going to zoom out again. Alright, and just before we import the plan from CAD, that we got rid of everything from the plan in CAD and just left it at the internal and external walls for the floor plan. On this toolbar here you have isometric, plan view, front elevation, right elevation, back elevation, and left elevation. We're going to go back to isometric, and I just want to say that the blue axis here is the Z axis. This is the axis, if you imagine, that's coming out of the screen towards me, or towards you. The red axis is the Y axis, and the green axis is the X axis. So as we draw, I'll be talking more about these. Okay, so I'm gonna just zoom out with the scroll wheel and then go into File, Import, and it's going to open up the last window folder that I was in. In some cases you might have to look for the folder, but in this case it's opened up what I want. Okay, SKP plan, which you can see there, it's an AutoCAD file, .dwg file format that will fit in with SketchUp. Click on import, left click once and import. Okay, so it's after importing it, and this window always appears import results, AutoCAD entities imported. So it gives layers, blocks, insert lines, 2 polylines, the elements of this of the AutoCAD drawing, AutoCAD entities simplified, degenerate faces 1, and some of the information I have to pay attention to, but sometimes it can help. So we click on close. Okay, and zoom extent. Now, again, zoom extent. Things aren't working out, zoom extent is your friend. So it automatically positions it on the X, Y, X red, Y green, and Z or blue Z axis. And we're going to click again on orbit, turn it around, zoom in, zoom out, and there we go. We have a perfect plan to start off with. Okay, I'm just going to save this now and then get ready for the next lesson where we're going to start drawing onto this. So File, Save As, navigate yourself to your folder. In this case, I have them saved in teaching folder, and living dining drafts 1 3D, we'll call that. Save. Already exists, yes. I'm going to press F10 to stop this recording.